first thing that comes to mind when you hear salad? I know conventionally when you hear the word salad, you usually think wet, cold type of ingredients that's raw. That's just not my thing. That's not what comes to mind when I think of salads anyways. So I'm going to be sharing my very non-basic salad, because we don't do basic around here. We are going to make a salad which you actually want to eat, which you actually want to enjoy, which is going to be full of so many different layers. I love warming foods in my salad. I love cooling foods and I love warming foods. I love the combination of both. So we're going to roast some vegetables. We're going to throw some leaves in there too. We're going to crunch it up with some pumpkin seeds. This is a dedication to my very non-basic salad, which if you guys follow me over on Instagram, you'll see me always cooking up, whipping up something like this. I love just throwing ingredients together. You can really be creative with it. You can work with whatever you've got. You can sub ingredients that I'm going to use. If you're vegan, plant-based, then yeah, scrap the eggs, scrap the anchovies, add something extra if you want to. So as we're in spring now and it's warming up, I think a lot of people will agree that we kind of just feel like we want some lighter foods. Eating lighter foods doesn't have to be boring. We're going to zest things up. We're going to spice things up. We're going to excite things up. I would love to hear what ingredients you're working with this time of year, what kind of salads you love throwing together. Let me know in the comment section. I've got all the ingredients behind me. I'm going to run through them. I'm going to show you what goes into my very non-basic salad. So the first ingredient is this kimchi. Now I'm not ashamed to say I did not make this kimchi. I didn't. This is shop bought. This is from a brand called Tickles Pickles. They're a small business. I believe they're based in London, female owned. They literally make the most delicious fermented foods, so check them out if you are in the UK. They are fantastic. This kimchi in particular is super delicious. It's going to add that spicy element to this recipe, so super yum. So you guys probably already know how crazy I am for olive oil, olives, anything that comes from an olive. Olives are one of my favorite foods. These are from a brand called Odyssey, again UK based. I think you can get them at Sainsbury's. They are really like just top quality olives. We've got a combination of Kalamata olives and we've got some, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but I think it's Nocciola olives, something like that. But sometimes I love dressing them up the way that my mum always would, which is just with like olive oil, loads of herbs, garlic, just like kind of let them sit and marinate. We're not going to do too much with these olives. We're going to keep them as they are because we're going to be making a dressing. So these are something called broccoli sprouts. I've really got back into sprouts. I used to go crazy for sprouts. Like I used to have the sprouting trays and I used to do my alfalfa. I used to sprout my sunflower seeds and all types of things. Crazy girl. So I used to be into sprouting a lot and I kind of went off it, but I've really got back into eating sprouts, at least not sprouting them myself. I've just been actually loving the flavor of them and how much of a powerhouse nutritional bomb they are. So yeah, lots of broccoli sprouts recently. So where do I even start with watercress? I think it's one of my most prized greens that I love. Watercress and rocket. I love peppery flavors and it just adds a real oomph, which we're gonna need lots of oomph for this salad. It's delicious, absolutely delicious. It's in abundance right now. You can get hold of some. Fantastic. It is an acquired taste. It might take you a little while just to kind of, you know, just to kind of get used to it, just to feel it out. But once you hit that watercress high and you get used to it, I'm telling you, there's nothing quite like it. So of course we're gonna have some type of seed. My chosen seed for right now are pumpkin seeds. I love to roast pumpkin seeds. I would usually soak them. Soaking, as I always say, is just the thing to do. Get with it. If you're eating a lot of pumpkin seeds, if you're eating a lot of seeds, grains, nuts, beans, legumes, we've been through it. Soaking is a really important step. Maybe I'll dedicate like a whole video to that because yeah, maybe that's like something I could do. So I got to throw a little avocado in there for my avocado lovers. Just gonna add loads of creaminess. Of course, this is a fantastic fat along with the olives, along with the egg yolks that I'm gonna be using, along with the anchovies. This is like a fat-full, non-basic salad. We're not holding back with fats. We need fats. Fats fuel our brains. So beetroot in absolutely everything. You guys know how it goes. I grab my pressure cooker, I put them in, they cook, I peel them, I cut them, they're delicious. I'm gonna link my pressure cooker or link the more kind of like updated, similar version of mine. Pressure cooker is like my favorite kitchen tool. I cook stews, I cook soups, I cook beetroot. They cook beans perfectly. If you've ever like attempted to cook beans from dried and they just are hard, it's like the worst thing ever, but a pressure cooker will never ever let you down. It's going to cook the bean all the way through. Chickpeas are definitely 100% my favorite type of legume. They are my go-to. I soak them up every week and I cook like a big batch of them and I'll just use them throughout my week in a salad like this. I make like big batches of hummus. I'll throw them in curries. They're just like a staple in my kitchen, so I always have some cooked chickpeas on deck. So I'm gonna go wild with the chickpeas. I'm gonna throw anything that I open my spice cupboard up and find going on the chickpeas. Again, I use my pressure cooker. Today, these are going to be our go-to roasting vegetables. So we've got a broccoli and we have got some crown prince squash. I'm going to roast the crown prince squash. Sometimes I'll steam it, but I feel like this time of year it's just not as tasty as like the winter time. So we're going to roast it and it's going to bring out some flavor. Really, really simple. I'm going to be soft boiling some eggs. I think it's like a 6-minute, 45-second egg. That's how I love the consistency of my eggs. So we've got some anchovies here. I like to eat fatty fish a couple of times a week. Usually either includes salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, herring. I don't really have herring much here when I'm in St. Lucia. I will definitely be eating herring because it's the thing there, herring and cucumber salad. But yeah, I like to get some fatty fish in a couple of times a week. I love the flavor and the saltiness that these anchovies add. I actually love adding anchovies to dressings and things like that, like when I'm blitzing them up. The other type of leaf that we're gonna be using is a radicchio. This is like a really bitter leaf, and you've got to kind of dress it up to kind of cut through the bitterness. So we're gonna make a really, really yummy dressing. Again, it's like an acquired taste. So we're going to piece this salad together. We're going to start off by preparing our vegetables. So what I'm going to do is grab the broccoli. Like I said, I'm going to roast it. So I'm just going to chop it up into small florets, giving it a wash before I chop it and then giving it a good wash after, just in case there's any wigglies. Rummaging around. Yeah, you just want to give the broccoli a really good wash. I then place the broccoli into a mixing bowl, placing on a little bit of sea salt, some garlic powder, chili flakes, a little swirl of coconut oil, and then I prepped the squash. So I peeled the squash and I chopped it into cubes like this. Sometimes squash is a little bit hard to work with, so just be careful with the knife when you're chopping it. I then placed the squash into a mixing bowl and I just placed over some sea salt, black pepper, kept it really simple, a little swirl of coconut oil just to crisp everything up. I placed the squash and the broccoli onto a large baking tray and then I put the tray into the oven until everything was kind of like golden. The broccoli might cook a little bit quicker. For that reason, maybe cut the squash a little bit smaller, if that makes sense, so they both cook at the same time. So I wanted to show you guys that you don't have to prepare beetroot in a pressure cooker. You can just simply steam it. It's still delicious, still works well. So I just grabbed my steaming trays, and I chopped the beetroot into cubes, put it to steam until it was soft. Super simple. So for that roasted chickpea flavor component of this salad, we're gonna roast the chickpeas. So like I said, I grabbed every seasoning, or any seasoning should I say, in sight, and I just literally went crazy. You guys know I didn't do measurements. I put on some sea salt, some dukkha blend, I threw some garlic powder in there, some smoked paprika, loads of different dried herbs. So I love using oregano and sage. Sage with roasted chickpeas is just so good. I then swirled on a little bit of olive oil. This is gonna crisp everything up. So when roasting chickpeas, you wanna make sure they're really flat, so they're all like flat, laid out flat. And then you're gonna place them into an oven of around 200 degrees. You can place them if you've got enough room in the oven with the vegetables. So everything will be cooking at around 190 degrees to 200 degrees, something around that time. And I crisped them up, cooked them until they were crispy. Look how golden and delicious these look. I love a good crispy chickpea, I love it. So we're gonna make a really yummy dressing, simple, effective, but delicious. So we're gonna use some raw honey, a little bit of Dijon mustard. We're gonna use some olive oil. Of course, we're gonna use some good extra virgin olive oil, some ginger, some chopped parsley, some lemon juice, and we're gonna combine everything. So I literally just threw everything into a bowl. I kind of finely grated the ginger just because I love the juiciness from the ginger when you grate it, but you can chop it if you don't have a fine grated, that's fine. I actually put in a bit of lemon zest and some lemon juice, finely chopped the parsley, and then I just whisked everything until everything was combined. Set that salad dressing aside. I went to boil my eggs. So I like a 6-minute, 45-second egg roughly. So that's the time in which I boiled these eggs. I simply placed these pumpkin seeds into the oven. I love doing like tamari roasted pumpkin seeds, and all you do is grab your pumpkin seeds, whether they're soaked or not, it's fine. Put them in the oven, whack them in the oven for about 15 minutes until they've kind of got a little, a little color, little tint on them, until they're a little bit toasty, roasty, and then you are gonna splash over some tamari. Yeah, that's it, really, really straightforward. Tamari pumpkin seeds, so good. You can actually store these in a little glass jar jar if you want and just use them as salad toppers, meal toppers. Really, really delicious. It's time to build the salad. You can do this any way you feel to build it. You can do it, but this is how I do it. So I grabbed my leaves to start with. So I grabbed the watercress and the radicchio, placed on top the roasted crown prince squash and the roasted broccoli, placed on top the steamed beetroot, followed on by a little bit of red onion. I love red onion. The juicy olives, the kimchi, swirled on a bit of dressing because I love dressing at every stage. I love it in the middle and I love it on top. Threw on a generous amount of those roasted chickpeas because they are one of my favorite parts of this salad. Scattered over some of those broccoli sprouts, put on top that avocado, the soft-boiled egg, anchovies, the pumpkin seeds, gave it one last swirl of dressing, and yeah, devoured this salad. Like seriously, so good, so freaking good. This is my personal idea of a satiating salad, a very non-basic salad, which actually doesn't take time if you've got like the ingredients maybe prepped beforehand. If chopping kind of takes you a while, then maybe do a little bit of prep before your week begins, so you have things that you can just throw together. But once you kind of get the hang of things and get used to just chopping and throwing things in with each other, you just find that confidence in the kitchen. I promise making something like this will be a breeze. Let me know if you try something similar to this. I'd love to see the variations. Tag me over on my Instagram. Give the video a like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. See you all soon. Bye.
There's nothing wrong in our struggle. If you will.